Now we'll move to our 9:45 a.m. From Placer County District Attorney, Proclamation of Fentanyl Awareness Day 2023 and acceptance of donation. We're asked to approve a proclamation establishing May 9th, 2023 as Fentanyl Awareness Day 2023, and 2, approve and authorize the county executive officer to accept a cash donation in the amount of $500 from Chris Didier to use support of continued marketing of the One Pill Can Kill broadcast series through the county executive officer's communications and public affairs office. District Attorney Gire.
Thank you. Good. Stay. We'll do it this way. Good morning. Nice to see all of you, Mr. Chair, fellow board members. Karen, Jane, nice to see you. Good morning, Megan. Thank you for allowing us an opportunity to address this board briefly. Today is National Fentanyl Awareness Day, so we are here seeking a proclamation from this board declaring it such here in Placer County. In essence, today is a day to reflect on how far we've come in the fentanyl crisis, what we are continuing to do, and what we're going to do here forward. Today is not Mission Accomplished Day, but it's pretty remarkable what Placer County has done to unite to take this crisis head on, and it's worth sort of discussing and acknowledging some of the things that have been done because it's pretty incredible. As you see, as we begin the presentation, you'll see the face of Zach Didier, who has become the face of our fentanyl campaign. Zach lost his life to fentanyl poisoning in December of 2020. His parents turned that pain into passion and have become ambassadors and partners with Placer County to carry that message forward. And as we'll talk about, you'll see some of the things that they have done. But that would require me to probably turn on, there we go, the remote. As we know, our county has seen a 450% increase in fentanyl deaths since this crisis began. This is a slide that Chris Didier, Zach's father, gives in our student presentations. And it highlights, in 2014, the yellow represents the amount of fentanyl deaths combined with, in comparison with other types of drugs in 2014. You'll see that yellow band represents fentanyl, exclusive fentanyl deaths, a very narrow band through there with the H meaning heroin being the largest cause of drug deaths. You'll see in 2021 what has eclipsed all other categories is fentanyl. We were hit hard. And we had a choice to make in 2020 when we started to see young lives taken at the hands of fentanyl dealers who were selling what our victims believed to be what they believed to be as pills marketed as something else, Percocet, Xanax. You have all heard this information before, but this is sort of the backdrop that led us to the crisis that we were in. Am I doing it right, or are you doing it? Do I? Okay, back there. Thank you. So when we began our campaign, we were spreading our message loud and clear, as far and wide as we could say. We were blessed to have quite a bit of media coverage. We had a number of rallies, we had a number of press events, and we had our bereaved and grieving families join us in these opportunities to be able to spread our message. It has been an incredible success to be able to get this county on the map of how we are handling this fentanyl crisis, and it's something that I think we should all be very proud of. We have launched the One Pill Can Kill campaign. We have launched it digitally. We have launched it visually. We have launched this campaign everywhere. And I think one thing that we can look back on throughout this crisis is the ability of our county to work together from every angle of this crisis, from our law enforcement to our public health, to our nonprofits, to our health and wellness providers. It is incredible the amount of information and resources we have given to the residents of our county. It is inspiring. It has inspired other counties to follow suit. It has inspired national media markets to take a look at Placer County and serve as a model for other counties to try and tackle this crisis, and we did it from the beginning. We had a choice to make, and we rose to that challenge. Next slide, there we go. We have kept this. This PowerPoint was not created by me. I don't allow photos of myself in our PowerPoints, but my PIO snuck some in. But we have been able to keep this message far and wide. We have. It was really humbling. I've gotten calls from everywhere from the Wall Street Journal to the San Francisco Chronicle, and what they say is when we research fentanyl and what's being done about it, Placer County keeps popping up. Why is that? And then I get to give this discussion about all of our county partners that banded together to say, let's fight this head on. We have an incredibly dedicated law enforcement community who made this a priority. Our office made this a priority in our prosecution and in our outreach and legislative efforts. Dr. Rob Oldham and HHS made it a priority to spread awareness. You can't find so many different areas of a county coming together to spread a unified message more than you have found here in Placer County. And it is, I think, difficult to calculate how many lives have been saved because of this. It's always hard to measure your success in lives saved. But when I'm finished here, I'm going to ask Sheriff Wu to come up and talk a little bit about the coroner side and how we actually can see some lives being saved. But the conversations that we're having at every level has truly, I think, made a significant difference particularly in our young people's lives, where our target sort of victimization group was really coming from. It was pretty astonishing how many young folks have been encountering this fentanyl. We took not only the digital marketing, as you saw, hopefully you saw some billboards on 65 and I-80, but you saw buses. We partnered with the Treasurer Tax Collector, so all homeowners in Placer County got to get not only bad news with their tax bill, but a little bit of good news with fentanyl information. The story of Zach Didier and the One Pill Can Kill campaign went out to every registered homeowner, thanks to Tristan and then Treasurer Tax Collector Janine. It was pretty incredible to be able to reach that many people and the amount of people that have come to us and said, hey, we saw that information. Normally we throw whatever flyers in there away, and this time we actually followed the information and learned quite a bit. If you went to see a movie in Placer County over the last 2 years, you will have seen fentanyl ads. You will continue to see more marketing along the fentanyl campaign, but we have blasted it everywhere we can, and it's been pretty remarkable. As you can see, 1.3 million impressions. That's fancy for people clicking, I think. I am a little bit of a novice when it comes to the social media, but we're getting lots of feedback from all angles of this campaign, and it's pretty remarkable. One of the things that really set Placer County apart was our podcast series, and I will thank Wendy Williams in the back and the entire PIO staff for the county for really taking this concept and turning it into an absolutely beautiful product that has been talked about by everyone, including, as you'll see on the lower left there, the administrator of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Ann Milgram, literally said that this is a model for counties all across the nation to follow. The content is the Didier family talking about their experience. It is the law enforcement side, it's the public health side, it's what we've sort of talked about, every angle, every aspect of the fentanyl crisis encapsulated into these riveting podcast series that people, I think, have really gone to learn a lot about it. And talking about the Didier and Collanton families, Collanton family, excuse me, I always mispronounce their last name. They have given us the greatest gift they could, which is the gift of their story, the story of their children. They have partnered to participate in these podcasts and these educational and outreach events to keep, one, the memory of their children alive, but two, the most compassionate act they could do to save lives. It's really remarkable. I don't know that very many people could find that amount of strength to be able to get up hundreds and hundreds of times and share that story, all for the benefit of young adults and children who can spread that word and save lives. It's truly remarkable. This podcast series has been talked about far and wide. I was at a state DA conference. We were talking about fentanyl, and counties that I hadn't had a lot of contact with said, I've listened to your podcast, and it's inspired us to do more and do more things. It was featured and won an award at the CAPIO, the Public Information Officers Association conference last week, as well as our One Pill Can Kill student rallies. That program won an award as well. Statewide conference, and Placer County was coming home with all of the awards for the efforts that they're doing. Speaking of those events, it takes a team to put these together, and it was an entire county-wide effort. Our office with Lisa Botwinick and Stephanie Herrera, who are here, have tirelessly gone into these schools with our families, with the Collinton family, the Didier family, sharing their stories, with our partners from HHS. And as you see the numbers here, and you heard me during the budget presentation talk about this, 17 high schools in Placer County. Almost every single high school, all but one. So if there's a high school student in Placer County, there is a good chance they sat through one of these assemblies and they heard firsthand from these families. What's quite humbling is at the conclusion of these rallies, the families stay and make themselves available for comments, and there is typically a line, dozens and dozens of students who come up to the families to talk about the impact that their story has had on them, on their families, on their friends. I mean, it is incredibly humbling and inspiring to watch these high school students silent for 45 minutes in assembly, which is a pretty amazing feat in and of itself. But to watch their engagement with these families and the conversations that they're having is truly remarkable. 10 middle schools and counting. We've wrapped up for this year, but we'll continue the middle school effort when school resumes in the fall. 30,000 students, 12 parents, parent information sessions where parents have taken time from their evening to come and listen to this. And you see in the presentation some of the quotes and feedback that they've had. It is truly remarkable. We had just recently the Nevada County District Attorney's Office staff came and shadowed Lisa and Stephanie during one so that they could take notes, and just did their first one last week in Nevada County. So literally it is catching on. We are very proud of it. We open it up to everyone and give all of our ideas and encourage thinking outside the box on new ways to make this message to get out there. Our investigations and prosecution, the goal of our fentanyl campaign was to hit this crisis from all angles. The outreach effort is what is ultimately, I think, going to make the biggest difference, but the backstop of that is accountability on the criminal side. We are blessed in Placer County to have such engaged and dedicated and talented law enforcement. The Sheriff's Office has made this a priority. Our Special Investigations Unit, and in particular, there is an investigator with the Sheriff's Office who has personally investigated the majority of these fentanyl deaths. He has put in hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours to investigate all of these. Ultimately, we've had 4 people that have been charged. When you investigate hundreds of cases and you have 4 cases charged, that's a pretty low percentage rate of investigation to charging, which is pretty standard for these types of cases. But it gives everyone, all families who have been affected by fentanyl poisoning and fentanyl overdoses, the opportunity to know that the case was looked at. That if we could make a case, we would. If we couldn't, at least they know we tried. Time is of the essence. Being able to access digital information is what ultimately makes these cases prosecutable in court. And that often isn't there. But those conversations and the effort put into the cases with these grieving families is incredibly important for their healing process and for our community. It's probably not surprising that this county gets very small when it comes to investigating our fentanyl dealers. They're connected, and investigating one that may not lead to a filed case leads to further investigations and can improve other cases. We, for the first time in 2021, filed murder charges against a fentanyl dealer. That is something that's happened in about 4 or 5 other counties. We were one of the first. I don't take that lightly. I don't want to do it. But when the facts and the circumstances of the case match with the law and it's the right thing to do, that's what we're going to do. We couldn't have done it without the investigation side from our Sheriff's Office and our Special Investigations Unit. They are top-notch. They have poured their hearts and souls into these cases and made seeking to hold these dealers accountable entirely possible. The advisement, some of you have probably been aware of the challenges we've had at the state legislature with regard to some of the fentanyl bills. There are some common sense proposals that would have made it a little easier on the law enforcement end and our prosecution end to hold dealers accountable. They have found no real results at the legislative side, despite our presence, despite our action, despite testifying on bills and writing letters and doing everything we can do in the legislative process. SB 44 was an advisement going statewide, similar to one that we are doing here in Placer County, and about 30 other counties are now doing. But we have advised and put people on notice in our county that we're not going to tolerate selling deadly fentanyl here in Placer County, and that the circumstances and the consequences are going to be severe if you're ultimately caught doing it. Our Special Investigations Unit, our Sheriff's Office, our local law enforcement agencies, our Tri-County Drug Enforcement Team are all still actively working to stop the flow of fentanyl coming into and throughout our county. Like any other county, especially ours that has a major interstate running through and connecting to the state line, we're always going to be a thoroughfare. That's just a fact of life. Drug dealers don't know county borders, they don't know county lines, they don't care, and our law enforcement agencies have to be proactive in trying to seek it out and disrupting those organizations and seizing it, and they have done just that. Combined, our county has seized enough fentanyl. I think the statistic used to be, to kill everybody a couple of times, every Placer County resident, and now I have to say, unfortunately, now about the next 5 generations of fentanyl, 5 generations of the population of Placer County could be killed by the amount of fentanyl that we've seized just in the last year alone. It's incredible. It has eclipsed every other market for drugs, and we're on the front line of trying to seize it and take it, and we're incredibly effective, and we will continue to do it. But as I tell everyone, we're not going to enforce, arrest, or prosecute our way out of this problem. The real solutions are going to come on the outreach and educational component, but you have to have that heavy hand backstop of prosecution and enforcement. The collaborative model has allowed us to attack it from every angle. So we are here today to acknowledge what we have done. We could not have done it without the support from this board. You have been to our events, you have listened, you have heard everything we have been doing. You have been supportive, you have been a partner in it, and we can't thank you enough. Today, we're not out of the woods. We're going to continue all of the things we have done. We're going to adapt, we're going to change, and we're going to try and continue to get our message out on all fronts of this, but we couldn't do it without our wonderful partnerships in this county. So today we will ask for your continued support as we continue to tackle this crisis on every front. It has been incredibly humbling to work with all of our different agencies in Placer County to really tackle this from the beginning. It is probably one of the highlights of my professional career is watching this county come together in the face of an enormous epidemic and crisis, and see everyone say, what can I do? What can I give? What can we do more? And every aspect of this county has done that. On this slide here, you have seen our partnerships. Everyone involved in the One Pill Can Kill campaign has been just incredibly selfless, from the Didier family to our Sheriff's Office to the Office of Education, HHS, our PIO, everybody within the county, and obviously our health and wellness partners beyond the county government has been just a complete success story. We will continue to fight. As I said, I would like to invite Sheriff Wu up here to give a couple of words about the coroner's aspect of it, and sort of his participation in our One Pill Can Kill platform as well, because without our partnerships with law enforcement, we would not be as far as we are today, and would not have had as many lives saved as I think we had. So Sheriff, come on.
Before you do that, District Attorney Gire, I want to, your passion is evident every time I see you speak about this. I thank you for your leadership and your strong commitment to bring this issue to the awareness of our community, particularly of our students, our young people. And I want to thank you for being the leader that you are, and we're behind you all the way. I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much. I just get to lead a very great team
Yeah.
with a lot of good partners.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, Chairman Holmes, members of the board. Good to see you this morning. Thank you for allowing us time to speak on such an important topic. I couldn't be more proud to be part of Team Placer as we stand up here today to address what we've done in the fentanyl crisis. You know, my partner in the criminal justice system, District Attorney Gire, I really want to thank him and his team for their leadership. Dr. Rob Oldham and Public Health, it really has been a collaborative approach. And I think what's made it really unique is the ability to engage and the willingness of people like the Didier family to turn their tragedy into some triumph and really make it their passion to go out and educate members of our community about the dangers of this fentanyl crisis. And you know, I think Morgan glossed over it a little bit, but if you looked closely at that one slide, it was a CBS 13 slide where it talked about the district attorney is prosecuting a first ever fentanyl-related murder charge. And I can't thank Morgan enough for his willingness and his leadership to blaze the trail in the state of California when our investigators were working these cases, and his willingness to take that on and prosecute them. And it really has been a collaborative effort and a multi-pronged approach. We did the education, the awareness, but we also have the enforcement arm. We saw early on what fentanyl was doing to our community, and I'm really proud of our ability to pivot and I think respond somewhat quickly where maybe other jurisdictions haven't, and bring everybody together in this collaborative way. Starting, you know, Morgan talked about some of the statistics. Being also your sheriff and your coroner, we started to see these fentanyl-related overdoses in our community, overdoses in the cities and in the unincorporated areas of the county. For the last 3 years, that trend has continued to increase year over year. Last year in 2022, we lost 38 members of our community to a fentanyl overdose. I stand before you today on Fentanyl Awareness Day, very proud to be part of Team Placer, because I really think through Morgan's leadership, this collaborative approach, and quite frankly, the board's leadership and support, that we are truly making a difference. And year to date so far, through the coroner's office, we have 5 confirmed fentanyl overdoses. Still too many, but you can obviously see that we are impacting that trend line that we've seen continuously go up year over year. This is the first year so far in 2023 that we're seeing the statistics go down. So I'm proud to be part of this criminal justice team. I'm proud to work with the district attorney, and I think the hard work and the effort are starting to pay some dividends, and we truly are saving lives. So thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I will give a final thank you to Megan for helping put this presentation together today. I would also like to thank Landon Wolf, who was very supportive of this on getting it from our staff to this point. And another thank you to Lisa and Stephanie, who have lived and breathed this issue nonstop. Lisa and Stephanie know that every time there's an issue and I have an idea to try and tackle it, they're the ones that are ultimately going to roll up their sleeves and get it into action and give up their nights and weekends to educate our community on these things. So an extra special thank you to them and to Dr. Rob and to Wendy for their efforts to collaborate as well. So with that, we would request the proclamation and carry this message forward and remotivate ourselves to continue doing all of the good work that this county is doing with your support. With that.
Thank you. Before I have the honor of reading this, is there any comments from, I see Supervisor Jones has a comment?
I do as well.
Yeah.
I just want to say how impressed I am by all of our law enforcement. And I did attend the One Pill Can Kill event that you hosted at the Blue Goose, that you all hosted for us. And it was extremely enlightening, and the families that were there, it was amazing that they could even speak of these tragic deaths of their children. But it was something that everybody who attended needed to hear. And so it is making a difference. And whatever we can do to get into that last high school, let us know. I hope it's not in my district.
We're working on it.
Thank you so much.
Supervisor Landon.
I just wanted to say, Morgan, Wayne, Dr. Rob, having five teenagers myself, I just want to say thank you so much for what you're doing. It's so important, and I just hope and pray that we don't have to see any more deaths from this, but I'm so proud of you guys and so proud of the work that you're doing, and PIO as well. Thank you for what you're doing. It's just so important.
Thank you, Supervisor Landon. Supervisor Gustafson.
I just want to echo all of that to Sheriff Wu and your team. And Morgan, thank you for championing this and making this county proud that we're doing everything we can to protect our young people. Thank you.
Alrighty. Is there anyone in the public that would like to make a comment on this item before I read this proclamation? Anyone online? Did you say no? No. Okay, alrighty.
Mr. Chair, I would like to propose, should we approve before you read the proclamation?
Sure.
I would like to propose that we approve a proclamation establishing May 9th, 2023 as Fentanyl Awareness Day, 2023, and also to approve and authorize the county executive officer to accept a cash donation in the amount of $500 from Chris Didier to use in support of continued marketing of the One Pill Can Kill podcast series through the county executive office's communications and public affairs office.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Jones, second by Supervisor Landon. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Hearing none, I'll now read the proclamation. In the matter of a proclamation recognizing May 9th, 2023 as Fentanyl Awareness Day in Placer County. Whereas Placer County acknowledges there has been a 450% increase, I'll repeat that, a 450% increase in fentanyl deaths between 2018 2021. And whereas according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, fentanyl is now the #1 cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45, surpassing suicide, car accident-related deaths. And whereas on March 8th, 2021, the Placer County District Attorney's Office filed criminal charges against an individual who sold fentanyl to a resident who later died of fentanyl poisoning. And whereas on February 16th, 2022, the Placer County District Attorney's Office filed a criminal complaint against a defendant for charges of murder and possession of a controlled substance for sale as it was related to a local fentanyl-related death, which was a result of a comprehensive investigation by the Placer County Special Investigations Unit. And whereas on March 4th, 2022, the Placer County Sheriff's Office, committed to fighting the fentanyl epidemic, issued a public service announcement regarding the increase in fentanyl-related deaths in the county as being reported by their coroner, as well as increased investigative efforts. And whereas on April 22nd, 2022, Placer County collectively launched the One Pill Can Kill campaign to address the increasing local and national fentanyl crisis and fake prescription pill epidemic that has presented significant challenges for the Placer County community. And whereas the One Pill Can Kill Placer campaign has been a tremendous success through county collaboration and the commitment of the bereaved families who have lost loved ones to fentanyl, who have turned their pain and into purpose to help educate Placer County residents on the dangers of fentanyl. And whereas the One Pill Can Kill Placer campaign led by the Placer County District Attorney's Community Outreach Division has spoken to over 30,000 Placer County students alongside surviving families. And whereas Placer County acknowledges the importance of this countywide cross-agency collaborative effort to address the fentanyl crisis. Whereas the Board of Supervisors does find that the aforesaid conditions and scope of extreme peril warrant and necessitate the importance of passing a proclamation of this nature. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Placer, State of California, hereby declares that Placer County is committed to fighting the fentanyl epidemic at every level. Be it further proclaimed that Placer County stands behind the efforts of the One Pill Can Kill campaign. And I'll bring this down, but I'll ask the board to join me because we're all in this together.
Kind of scrunch together if you could. Right on. Lisa, come in a little bit. Thanks, Rob, if you could go in a little bit further. Smile.
Thank you.